So good morning, everyone.
Good
Good
morning
morning
po.
po.
Okay. So let's first check the attendance before we begin. So once you hear your last name, or once you hear your name, please repeat your last name and say present. Okay, again, repeat your last name and say present. All right, let's start with Ala. Alonzo.
Alonso present po.
Bautista. Baybin. Bayot.
Bayot present po, ma'am.
Baybin, Bayot. Kamet.
Kamet present po.
Karaan.
Karaan present po.
Kayaga.
Kayaga present po.
Colorina.
Colorina present po.
Jonaldo.
Jonaldo present po.
Ferry. Gallego. Hero. Guevara.
Guevara present po.
Giab.
Iya present po.
Ibalyo. Ikaranom.
Ikaranom present po.
Huanga.
Huanga present po.
Leones.
Leones present po.
Lucero.
Lucero present po.
Mabag.
Mabag present po.
Mabuti. Manipis.
Manipis present po.
Manlapas.
Present po.
Masikat.
Masikat present po.
Ninobla. Ogis.
Ogis present po.
Palubon.
Palubon present po.
Pangilinan.
Pangilinan present
Pasco.
po.
Pasco present po.
How do you pronounce your last name, Mr. Adrian? Reunier? Okay. All right, thank you. Reyes?
Reyes present po.
Okay. Rodolfo?
Rodolfo present po.
Rolio?
Present po, ma'am.
Salazar?
Salazar present po.
Saluria?
Taluria present po.
Tanudra?
Tanudra present po.
Velus present po.
Vicedo? Vicedo? Imata?
Imata present po, ma'am.
Zolina?
Zolina present po.
Alright, so absent, Ala, Bautista, Baybin. Who else? Ferry, Gallego, Guero, Ibalyo, Mabute, Ninobla. Vicedo nandito ba? Wala rin, ano? Okay. So let's start our discussion, no, for today. Okay. So let's start with, by the way, dalawang part po yung discussion natin. So there will be a two-part discussion of this topic that involves the red blood cell abnormality or anomaly. Okay. So if you remember, I told you that there are two types of disorders. Okay. Okay, we'll fix your attendance later. Okay, so we have the quantitative and we have the qualitative disorders, right? Pag sinabi natin quantitative, that is a defect in the number of the RBC. Qualitative, that refers to the structure as well as the function of RBC. Correct? So, with that, unahin natin yung qualitative. Kasi pag sinabi nating red blood cell anomaly or red blood cell abnormality, it refers to the defect in the structure or defect in the morphology. Okay? So, paano po ba natin or how do we able to observe and how do we determine this abnormality? So, this can be observed when we make a peripheral blood smear. So, blood film po yan. Peripheral blood smear. So, this is also known as your blood film. Parehas lang yan. In which you will have to drop a blood, right, on top of your slide. And using another slide, you have to smear it until the end of the slide. So, i-smear po natin pag ganon. Ngayon, anong information ang makukuha natin? Remember, we can be able to observe the morphology of not only RBC but also other cells, no? But for this particular case, or for this particular discussion, RBC morphology ang pag-uusapan natin. Saglit lang, guys. Okay. Okay. Online naman lahat. Okay. So again, for the red blood cell abnormality, we're using the peripheral blood smear or the blood film to determine the morphology of the RBC. Right? So again, ano ba yung makikita natin na features or para saan ba muna itong peripheral blood smear na to? So ano ba ang purpose or ano yung features ng RBC na pwede nating makuha, no, from peripheral blood smear? So number one, we can get a diagnostic condition. Okay? Pag sinabi kong condition, hindi po ito disease or disorder. So ibig sabihin, ang peripheral blood smear, hindi po siya diagnostic pa. Ibig sabihin, the PBS alone cannot diagnose a certain disorder, but it can be diagnostic of a certain condition. Ano bang pinagkaiba ng condition at saka ng disorder? Pag sinabi nating condition, ibig sabihin, like for example, it's a general description, okay, of a certain disease. Like for example, anemia. Okay, it's just a condition. Why? Because anemia, we have several types of anemia, right? So meron tayong aplastic anemia, red cell aplasia, hemolytic anemias. Ang hemolytic anemia nga may iba't iba pang types 'yon. So kumbaga, parang we can only be diagnostic of a certain condition. Meron bang poikilocytosis? Meron bang anisocytosis? Okay? So later on, pag sa discussion, pag-uusapan natin yon. Okay, but for now, okay, it may be diagnostic of a condition. Okay? Next, number 2, it will only provide clue. Kasi, tulad ng sabi ko kanina, you cannot only perform peripheral blood smear to confirm a disease or a presence of a disease. So, kailangan natin ng iba't ibang hematological test. Like, for example, CBC with PBS, with red blood cell indices, with osmotic fragility test, etc. So, ang pagdadiagnose ng isang disease, no, kailangan natin ng multiple tests. And then, those multiple tests will be correlated with one another. Understood? So, ulitin ko, this will only provide clue regarding a disease state. Provide clue, how do I say it? To a disease state. And finally, number 3, maaari pong kapag pinerform natin to, mangailangan tayo or we may be needing of other confirmatory test. You get it? They may indicate, so pag nag-perform tayo ng PBS, it may indicate the need to check other hematological test result. Okay, other hematological test result for additional confirmatory. Okay, or for additional test to confirm a certain disease. So kumbaga, hindi po ito absolute test. This can only give you an idea with regards to the morphology of RBC, but of course, it needs other tests para makapag-confirm tayo ng presence ng disease. Do you understand? Okay. So, let us start. Ano ba muna? Ito, sinabi ko na, and I've mentioned this previously on our other discussion. Before you can recognize a certain abnormality, you have to know first what is normal. Right? Paano mo masasabing abnormal ang isang bagay? You have known dapat what normal is muna. Diba? So, ano ba muna ang normal characteristic ng mature RBC? Number 1, distribution. Kailangan even. So, pag sinabi nating even, parang ganito guys. Ayan. So, this is an example of a peripheral blood smear. So, meron ka ditong thick portion, thin portion, at ito yung tinatawag natin na feathery edge. Yan. Sa thin portion tayo nag-o-observe. We observe the RBC morphology at the thin portion of the PBS in which the red cells are evenly distributed. Okay? Diyan tayo tumitingin. Ngayon, kung abnormal, right? Dikit-dikit po yan. It should be aggregated to one another. Okay? They should be, tawag dito, in relu with one another. But if it is normal, it should be like this. Again, even. It is 6 to 8 micrometer. The thickness is 2.5 micrometer. The volume is 90. The surface area is 140. We talked about that previously, right? And then the shape. The shape is biconcave. And then wala dapat inclusion sa cytoplasm. Naalala ninyo, as the cell matures, the nucleus, diba, is extruded from the cell. Ibig sabihin, anucleated dapat ang sa cytoplasm malinis. Walang kahit anong inclusion. That is considered normal. Ano ma'am yung maaaring maging variation dito sa mga abnormalities na to? 1, distribution. Number 2, posibleng magkaroon ng variability or variation sa shape, sa size, sa color. And also, may presence ng inclusion. So, isa-isahin po natin. Let's talk about the distribution. So, like what I've mentioned earlier, we're going to observe, no, the distribution at the thin portion. Why not on the thick portion? Because the cells are overlapping on this side. And this is unsuitable for evaluation. So common sense, when they are agglutinate or when they are overlapping with one another, you cannot see the outline of an individual RBC. Katulad nito, you can see the outline of individual RBC in comparison to the thick portion, you cannot, right? Kaya hindi po yan suitable for evaluation or for observation. And then on the feathery edge, on the other hand, dito naman tayo sa right side, yung pinakadulo, irregular naman. And sometimes, may mga artifact pa dyan. Pag sinabi nating artifact, possible that the shape of the RBC in that side is already irregular as well. Okay? May makikita ka dyang discoid, may makikita ka dyang elongated, merong malaki, may maliit. Bakit nangyayari yung distortion at the end? Because when you perform a smear or a peripheral blood smear, remember, this is if nagawa nyo na ba to sa mga previous laboratories ninyo? Okay, di ba may dalawa kang slide? You will be using 2 slides. On the first slide, you will drop a blood. And then the other slide, you will use it to smear, okay? To create a smear. So what happens is that in the feathery edge, na in-apply mo on the slide. So the cells on this part absorb that pressure, and that's why nagkakaroon ng mga irregular shape, irregular size on this particular side. Malinaw po ba yun? So again, this is not suitable for any evaluation. Gets? Okay na po tayo dito. So saan po dapat sa thin area? No? You have there no overlapping. No? Big sabihin, the RBCs are separated with one another. Okay? So, ano po ba yung example ng abnormal, ma'am? Okay. So, number 1, at the thin portion, let's say nagkaroon ng ROLU. ROLU is when the RBCs are not separated with one another. So, ibig sabihin po, meron siyang, what do you call this? Parang nag-i-stack yung coin. Parang stacking of coins. Alright? And, or parang you have multiple plates which are stacked together. Okay? Siguro naman nakita na kaya ng stack of coins. Okay? So, what happens here is that the shape of the RBC contributes to the ROLU formation. Remember, the shape is discoid. When you stack, okay, discoid cells, it will be like this. Right? So, posible pong mag-form siya ng ROLU. Lalo na when you have protein abnormality. And when you say protein abnormality, the plasma proteins are affected. Ibig sabihin, there are diseases, no, contributing bakit nagkaroon ng ROLU. ROLU is non-specific, by the way. Okay? ROLU is non-specific. When you say non-specific, it will not or multiple other possibilities why ROLU happen. Okay, number 1, definitely it's because of the protein abnormality. Bakit magkakaroon ng increased ESR? ESR is the sedimentation rate. Okay? Sedimentation rate, which you will discuss together with Sir Erwin, no? Yung mga laboratory evaluation. Okay, this will indicate presence of inflammation. Anong correlation ng inflammation, ma'am, sa protein abnormality? Okay, ganito po. Inflammation will indicate increase in, let's say, fibrinogen. Okay. Fibrinogen is a plasma protein, ha? Okay. Let's say there is increased fibrinogen. Ma'am, bakit tataas ang fibrinogen? Because of inflammation. Fibrinogen, in this case, it acted as an acute phase reactant. Familiar po ba doon? Acute phase reactant. Acute phase reactant, marami po tayong example niyan. So you will learn this in your clinical chemistry and in your immunoserology. That whenever our body encountered or whenever our body detected inflammation, nagpo-produce tayo ng mga plasma proteins acted, okay, or which can indicate the presence of inflammation. Naintindihan? So, marami pa pong example ng mag-increase. kapag merong inflammation. So, what happens here is that dahil nag-increase yung, dahil nagkaroon ng inflammation, so inflammation muna. Like for example, ito. Ito na muna ibibigay kong example. Associated dito sa inflammation na to ha. So halimbawa, in cases of infection, tissue necrosis, pregnancy, nagkakaroon ng inflammation. So yung katawan natin nagpo-produce ng mga acute phase reactant like fibrinogen. The fibrinogen will increase our ESR value. So ang gusto kong isabihin dito sa inyo is that pag nakita ka ng Rolu formation, you can correlate it with the increased ESR. So kumbaga parang mako-confirm mo yun. Pag tinignan mo yung ESR, okay, increase siya. So totoo tong Rolu formation na to. Okay? Confirm tong Rolu formation na to. So the peripheral blood smear can only give you indications of a certain disease condition or disease state. Okay? Pero hindi siya magko-confirm. Kailangan natin ng iba pang hematological test para ma-confirm yon. Katulad nito, nakita ka ng Rolu, kinorelate mo siya sa increased ESR. Okay? Kapag kinorelate mo yung dalawang yan, posibleng ito yung mga disease states. Pwedeng may infection yung pasyente, pwedeng may tissue necrosis yung pasyente, or maaaring dahil yan sa pregnancy. Nagigets po ba? Okay. Next. Ang other possible reason, itong hyperproteinemia, multiple myeloma, and macroglobulinemia, guys, mataas ang plasma protein sa mga conditions na yan. Okay? Increase plasma proteins. Alright? Ulitin ko, mataas ang plasma protein, kaya nagpo-form ng Rolu. Now, for the hyperproteinemia and multiple myeloma, you have an increased protein known as gamma globulin. Ayan yung reason. Tapos, ito din, sa macroglobulinemia, yung sizes ng proteins dito malalaki. Kaya nga ang tawag is macro. Macro is large. Globulinemia is presence of globin. Dahil malalaki yung gamma globulins natin sa macroglobulinemia, it will create a more pronounced and lengthy chains. So kumbaga sa macroglobulinemia, mas mahahaba yung Rolu dito. Okay? Mas mahahaba compared to when the condition is hyperproteinemia or multiple myeloma. Okay? But definitely, all of this happens because of the protein abnormality in your plasma. Malinaw po ba? Ma'am, ano itong spherocyte? Spherocyte is an abnormality in the shape of RBC. In this condition or in this type of abnormality, ang RBC natin hindi discoid. Okay? Instead, it's round. So, di ba ang discoid is like this? Yan. Ang spherocyte, round lang. Bilog lang talaga siya. Spherical. Malinaw po ba? Okay. Next. Ito hindi to mag-i-stack together, ha? Hindi ba? You cannot stack balls with one another. Like spherocytes, round po ito, so they will not form Rolu. Unlike when the shape of the RBC is discoid. It is very suitable, no? Para mag-form siya ng stack. Malinaw? Alright, let's move on to agglutination. Agglutination, on the other hand, you form here clusters or masses. Ngayon, kung kanina ang reason is because of the protein abnormality, in this case, the reason is antibody. Exposure to RBC antibodies. Ganun pa rin ang problema natin. In Rolu formation, the entire outline hindi visible. Okay? Pag nag-agglutinate, ganun pa rin, yung entire outline hindi pa rin visible. Katulad ng rolu. Outline, not visible. Same, outline, not visible. Kasi nga nagdikit-dikit. Malinaw? So, bakit nagdikit-dikit? Because of the antibodies that may either be present in plasma or in serum. So, I cannot actually discuss yung mga disease states one by one. Okay? Anyway, yung mga anemia naman dito, we're going to discuss it further pagdating natin ng mga RBC disorders. Okay? I can only discuss some of the associated disorder. Pero it doesn't necessarily mean na pag hindi natin na-discuss, hindi na po ninyo yan kailangang i-familiarize. So, kailangan pa rin po. Okay? So, dito, I can only discuss etong normal at cold agglutinin. Meron kasi tayong tinatawag na auto-agglutination. Normal po yung nangyayari sa mga normal individual. Wala pong associated na agglutinin dyan. Ibig sabihin, wala pong associated na antibody dyan. Yun nga lang, nangyayari yan dahil, halimbawa, nag-centrifuge ka, no, ng anticoagulated blood. So talaga pong may possibility ng auto-agglutination. Pero normal yon, hindi yun dahil sa RBC antibodies natin. Malinaw po ba yon? Okay. Ang gagawin mo lang, para, usually nangyayari naman ng auto-agglutination pag malalaman mo yan na normal kapag konti lang. So, let's say, for example, in a field, nakita ka lang ngayon. Okay? Pero, ang hindi normal is kapag may mga other related disease states na. Like, for example, merong infection. Okay? May trypanosomiasis. May hemolytic anemia. Ito, i-elaborate ko lang, ano tong cold agglutinin disease na to? So, ibig sabihin, kapag na-expose yung red blood cell natin between 25 to 35 degrees Celsius, yung cold temperature will actually enhance. Okay? Na-enhance niya yung auto-antibody activity. So what happens is that pagka na-expose sa malamig na temperature, no, nag-agglutinate sila. Na-enhance kasi yung capability ng auto-antibodies. So ang nangyayari, pag tinignan mo yung PDS ng patient, merong mga agglutination. So pwede ba natin to, ma'am, i-counteract? Yes, pwede. You warm the specimen. And once you warm the specimen, tas nawala yung agglutination, the agglutination vanishes, then it is you can say that's because of cold agglutinins. Okay? Sa una, winarm mo yung specimen, nawala, probably that is because of a cold agglutinin or presence of cold agglutinin. Okay? For a while lang, guys, All right. So going back, one thing that you can also check is the MCV. So kanina ESR, 'di ba? For the ROLU. Dito naman you can check or you can correlate this with the MCV, but this is applicable when you use automated equipment, ha? Automated machines. Hindi po ito makikita sa manual. All right. So automated. Ang MCV is an RBC index. Do you remember? Okay. So 'di ba ang normal MCV value is from 80 na MCV, 80 to 100 femtoliter. So let's talk about the Coulter principle. Anyway, pag-uusapan nyo to sa laboratory procedure ninyo. Coulter principle. So, sa machine, meron tayong electrode and then aperture. Okay, makinig muna po. So, dito meron tayong electrode and then aperture. So, dito sa aperture, dito nagpa-pass through yung mga individual cells. So, baka nagtataka kayo, paano ba nare-recognize nung machine as to whether they are classified as RBC, paano naka-classify as WBC, paano naka-classify as platelet. So, nakadepende po yan sa volume. Okay? Nakadepende sa volume. Okay, ngayon, sabi ko nga kanina, for a normal RBC, it's 80 to 100 femtoliter. So, within that value, pag pumasok yung volume within that value, that will be considered RBC. But of course, may limit yan, di ba? If that is less than 80, okay, this is known as there is presence of microcytes. And then if it is more than 100, may presence po ng macrocytes. Okay. Ngayon, kapag mababa ang, kapag less than 80 femtoliter, mababa po ang MCV value. Dito naman, normal. Ito naman, mataas. Right? So, sa tingin nyo, kapag pass through dito, yung agglutinated RBC, ang MCV value niya, maka-classify as increased. Bakit increased? Kasi nga po, kumpul-kumpul siya, when it pass through the aperture, marirecognize siya na isang malaking cell. Kaya, magiging macrocyte. Nakukuha po ba? Tapos, pag tinignan mo sa PBS, kaya pala nag-macrocyte. Right? Kaya pala na-recognize ni machine as macrocyte because of the presence of the agglutination. So I'll repeat, sa Rouleau formation, mataas ang ESR. Sa agglutination naman, you have increased MCV. But again, limited po ito sa MCV na kinompute sa automated equipment. Clear? May tanong po? Clarification? Question so far. Sabi ko kanina sa size, so we have the normo, macro, and microcytic. So normocytic means normal ang size ng cell, so normal ang MCV. Macrocytic mataas, microcytic mababa. So you're already familiar with anisocytosis, right? Ibig pong sabihin, meron pong iba't ibang sizes. Okay, yung RBC nung individual. So that's associated to a lot of anemia. So the anisocytosis, ano nga yung RBC parameter natin for anisocytosis? What is the RBC parameter we can use to detect the presence of anisocytosis? Anyone? Naalala ninyo? Ano po yung parameter? Ala, hindi pa nagre-review. May quiz na po kayo within this week. Kailan ang meeting ninyo with Sir Erwin? Tomorrow ba? Or sa Friday?
Sa Friday po.
Sa Friday pa? Kaya naman pala hindi pa kayo nag-aaral. Pero tandaan nyo, 2 pong quiz yun, ha? Okay. So, ano na po? Ano yung RBC parameter natin associated with anisocytosis to detect aniso? Yes, that is RDW. Reticulocyte distribution, red cell distribution width. Diba? Okay. So, thank you. Next, pag-usapan natin ang macrocytosis. So, again, in microcytosis, you have increase, size for RBC. And you have here, bakit nagkaroon ng malalaking RBC, ma'am? So, pag-usapan natin yung nuclear maturation. Okay? Nuclear maturation. You're done with the erythrocytosis, right? Tapos na po sa erythrocytosis. Ngayon, pag sinabi natin erythrocytosis, that's RBC production. Ano pong nangyayari sa cell as the cell matures? Ulitin ko, what happens to the cell size as the cell mature? Letter A, increases. Letter B, decreases. Letter C, either. Letter D, neither. Miss Masikat. Anong nangyayari sa cell as it mature? Increases, decreases, both, or neither?
Decreases
Nandito
po,
ba?
ma'am.
Okay. Decreases. Very good. Diba, natatandaan ninyo, habang tumatanda ang cell or as it develop, nababawasan kasi yung kanyang cellular organelle. Remember, nawawala ang nucleus, nawawala ang mitochondria. With that, lumiliit din dapat yung size ng cell. Pero in this particular case or in this defect, yung nucleus po natin hindi natanggal. Okay? Naiintindihan? So, hindi po lumiit. Sa supposedly na dapat ma-achieve natin na normal size. So, mas malaki po. So, ano yung mga possible reason? Number 1, posible dahil may deficiency. Saan? Vitamin B12, okay, and folate, and or folate. So, you will learn this in your hemoglobin. Okay? Anong importance ng vitamin B12 sa heme synthesis at anong importance ng folate? Okay, another reason bakit nagkakaroon ng defect sa maturation, that is because of a let's say, nagkaroon ng disruption in regular mitosis. So remember, pag sinabi natin mitosis, yung parent cell, nakahati siya in 2 different daughter cells. Di ba? In this case, hindi po nangyari yung mitosis. At dahil doon, it remained large. Malaki pa rin kasi hindi nahati sa dalawa. Okay? So those are the 2 possible reasons bakit nagkaroon ng defect sa nuclear maturation. Or probably nagkaroon nasobrahan sa hemoglobin. Okay? Mataas ang hemoglobin content. Pangalawa, syempre kung marami ang protein, malaki yung size. Okay? Pangalawa, halimbawa, nagkaroon ng premature release ng reticulocyte or not only reticulocyte but all immature forms, okay, ng RBC. Hindi lang reticulocyte pero yung iba pang immature RBC, yung mga rubriblasts, prorubricite, rubricite, metarubricite. Question, nasan ba dapat yung mga immature RBC? Nasan ba dapat, Miss Lucero? Yung mga immature RBC. Shane? Nandito ba? Move you from the meat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wala. So, absent to. O sige, ma-mark na lang natin na absent. Hindi lang kayo a-attend just for the attendance, okay? Okay, who can answer? Yes, Mr. Jonaldo. Thank you.
Nasa bone marrow po, ma'am.
Correct. Dapat nasa bone marrow sila. Bakit, ma'am, sila? Ano pong mga possible reason? Bakit sila prematurely nare-release sa peripheral circulation? Dapat po nasa bone marrow sila. Okay, halimbawa, merong hemolytic anemia. Okay, hemolytic anemia. Sa midterm, alam ninyo, napakahalaga na alam ninyo yung mga di ba nagamit nyo kanina dito? Yung destruction, yung mga structure. Okay? When we talk about the abnormality as well as the disorder. Kasi i-correlate nyo siya. Para mas madali nyong naiintindihan yung mga disorders or abnormalities, kailangan alam nyo muna yung mga prerequisite na mga concept doon. Katulad nung mga nasabi natin kanina. Okay, eto po. Sa hemolytic anemia, para maintindihan nyo siya, pag sinabi natin hemolytic anemia, mabilis malays ang RBC. So according to Sir Erwin, Nicole, gaano katagal ang lifespan, Miss Leones, ng RBC sa peripheral circulation?
120 po ba?
Okay, tama. 120 days to be exact, no? Pero pag may hemolytic anemia ang pasyente, guys, hindi po umaabot ng 120 days. Less than 120 days, nasisira na agad yung RBC natin. So, anong nangyayari? Kapag may hemolytic anemia ka, dahil mabilis siyang malays, bumababa yung count ng RBC natin due to premature lysis. Ngayon, yung bone marrow natin, normal pa din naman at that time eh. So, nagfa-function pa rin siya. Ang nangyayari guys, nagkakaroon ng stimulation. Okay, sabi ni bone marrow, okay, kailangan ako mag-produce kaso hindi ko kaya kasi wala naman akong, hindi kasi katulad ng WBC, meron siyang reserve. Sa RBC, walang reserve. Okay? Walang reserve ang RBC sa bone marrow nang kailangan niya na red blood cell. So, ang gagawin niya, either papabilisin niya yung kanyang production or kung anong meron siya, i-release niya. Katulad ng, ano bang meron siya? Sabi niya sa akin kanina, ang immature RBC nasa bone marrow. Right? Ano ba ang size? Tulad ng sinabi nating concept kanina, pag immature ang RBC, di ba? Sabi nyo, as the cell mature, the cell size decreases. Ibig sabihin, doon sa mga early stages niya, like rubriblast, prorubricite, rubricite, metarubricite, malalaki yan. So ngayon, dahil kailangan na ni bone marrow mag-release ng mga red blood cell, dahil wala naman siyang reserve, i-release niya, pati mga immature. Nagigets po ba? Kaya, pag nag-perform ka ng PBS, makikita mo, malalaki ang RBC mo. Okay? Mataas ang MCV mo. Malinaw po ba? And another thing, you can correlate it with the color. Okay? Paano mo masasabi na mga immature yung RBC na nandoon? Kasi hypochromic pa siya. 'Di ba? Ibig sabihin, pag hypochromic, hindi pa ganun kadami yung hemoglobin. Nakuha po ba? 'Di ba kapag immature ang RBC, hindi pa yan totally nakakapag-produce ng enough number of or enough amount of hemoglobin. Tama po? So what happens to those? Ibig sabihin, immature yung RBC na yun. So, when you say hypo, hypo is low, chromic is color. Kapag mababa or sabihin natin less, yung intensity ng stain, ibig sabihin, associated din yan with, naalala ninyo yung pinag-usapan natin sa hemoglobin nung nakaraan, associated ang hemoglobin sa kulay, 'di ba? Kapag less ang kulay ng ng RBC mo, ibig sabihin konti lang hemoglobin content. At kapag konti lang ang hemoglobin content, posible po tapos malaki pa siya, that's an indication of the presence of immature RBC. Iba pa yan dito ha, iba pa po yan dito sa increased synthesis ng hemoglobin ha, iba pa yan. Okay? Malinaw po ba ito? Bakit tayo may macrocytosis? May tanong, clarification, question. Pag may hindi kayo naintindihan, sabihin niyo so that we can repeat or we can clarify it. Okay na po. Alright, sige. Proceed tayo with the different disease states kung saan natin makikita ang microcytosis. So, pwede po sa alcoholism, okay? Because of the vitamin B12 yan, at saka folate. Kapag kasi may alcoholism, nasisira po itong mga vitamins na to. Okay? And once these vitamins are decreased or deficient, di ba, nagkakaroon ng macrocytes. Cancer chemotherapy, ganun din, no? Affected yung liver. Okay? And once the liver is affected, nababawasan po or nagiging deficient, maaaring maging deficient yung patient doon sa dalawang kailangan natin, which is the vitamin B12 and the folate. Malinaw? Nasabi ko na itong hemolytic anemia kanina. Okay? HDN is hemolytic disease of the newborn. So, ganun din yan, na parehas lang yan ng concept ng hemolytic. Dito din, ganun din, parehas lang yan ng concept ng hemolytic anemia. Dito naman, as in, walang napoproduce na cell. Okay? Wala nang mature na red cell na napoproduce. So, ano na ngayon ang gagawin ng bone marrow natin? Kung anong meron siya, i-release niya, which are immature. Kaya meron kang macrocyte. Gets po yun? Kapag kulang, okay, ang RBC, ang gagawin lagi ng bone marrow mo, laging magre-release siya. Naintindihan po ba? At ang marirelease niya, immature, which are large. Kaya may macrocytes. Malinaw po ba? Okay, next. Let's talk about the other condition or the other variation, which is the microcytosis. On this, maliit naman siya. Okay, at kadalasan po associated sa heme synthesis yan. Kung kanina sa macrocytosis, mataas. Okay, increase synthesis ha, increase synthesis. Dito naman, decrease. Alright, now in this week 4, i-discuss ninyo with Sir Erwin yung hemoglobin synthesis. But review, ano bang laman ng hemoglobin? What are the components? Components are the following. Number 1, meron pong heme. Okay. Ang heme, meron po yang globin at saka iron. Okay? So, these are very important. So, meron pa pong ibang components yan like your protoporphyrin 9, okay. 2,3-DPG, pwede din. Number 3. Pero sa ano nyo na lang to ha? Okay. And possibly oxygen. Okay? With or without oxygen naman yan. Okay. Anyway, dito muna tayo mag-focus. Kasi dito associated yung pag-uusapan nating mga conditions. Okay. Bakit magdi-decrease ang hemoglobin? Siyempre, iron. This is globin ha, not globulin. Impaired globin synthesis. So, syempre, pag mababa ang globin, mababa ang iron, mababa din ang heme. Pag mababa ang heme, mababa ang hemoglobin. Nakukuha po ba? So, associated sila, di ba? Next, another. Ma'am, bakit associated ang mitochondria? Kasi ang heme po, this occurs, okay, in mitochondria as well as in the cytoplasm of the cell. So, syempre, kung you have a problem in the mitochondria, you will also be having a problem with the heme. And if you have a problem with the heme, you have a problem with your hemoglobin. Do you get it? So, they are interrelated with one another. And with that, nagkakaroon ng microcytosis. Okay? Nakuha? Okay, next. You tell me pag di nakuha, sabihin po. Kasi, sorry, when you memorize this, pag memorize nyo lang to nang hindi nyo naiintindihan, I'll tell you guys, malilimutan nyo to at malilimutan nyo to sa exam. But when you do understand the concept, you can correlate them. Diba? And whatever the question is, in your quiz, in your exam, madali nyo pong masasagot yon. Right? Okay. So, let's move on. Bakit, ma'am, malabsorption syndrome? Sa malabsorption syndrome, isa sa saan ba na-absorb? So, deficiency anemia is malabsorption syndrome, which in this case, maglilid yan sa deficiency sa iron. At pag deficient sa iron, deficient sa hemoglobin. At pag deficient sa hemoglobin, you have microcytosis. Nakuha? Next, mga variant hemoglobin type, like for example, sulfhemoglobin, methemoglobin. Okay? Anyway, ito naman, i-discuss sa inyo to sa hemoglobin discussion ninyo. Etong hemoglobinopathies na to, pag-uusapan naman natin to sa midterm. So, iwanan muna natin yan as is. Okay? Next. Let's talk about poikilocytosis. So, for poikilocytosis, guys, kung kanina ay aniso, magkakaiba ang sizes, dito naman shape. Okay? You have different shape. So, there are several reasons why you have variation in shape. May it be chemical or physical, problema sa membrane, or problema po sa physical content. Okay, isa-isahin natin ang mga reason. So, before that, tinabulate ko pala dito yung mga other terms. Kasi in other references, halimbawa ang elliptocyte. In other references, it's also known as ovalocyte. Discocyte, that's the normal erythrocyte. Yung echinocyte, also known yan as Bursell or crenated RBC. Okay, so may mga table akong nilagay dyan na nakatabulate yung common name and yung other names niya. Okay? So, paki-familiarize na lang. So, punta na tayo dito sa mga causes of the variation in the, not size yan ha, shape dapat yan. Okay? It's shape. So, number 1 is developmental macrocytosis. Next is, there is a membrane abnormality. 3, because of trauma. And number 4 is because of abnormal hemoglobin content. So, ito po yung mga causes. Bakit nagkakaroon ng variation sa size ng RBC? Okay? Sige po. Okay na? Anyway, nandyan naman yan. Yung mga title. Alright, unahin natin ang developmental macrocytosis. For developmental macrocytosis, you have large, no, oval or egg-shaped macrocytes. So, ang appearance nito kaparehas ng elliptocyte. So, ito naman yung elliptocyte. Sorry. Ayan, ito naman yung elliptocyte ha. Ayan. Pero, parehas sila ng, what do you call this? Parehas sila halos ng itsura, pero itong elliptocyte, more elongated. Pero magkaiba sila ng reason. Okay? Magkaiba sila ng reason ha. Or ang principle kung bakit tayo nagkaroon ng elliptocyte at bakit tayo nagkaroon ng ovalocyte. So, dito muna tayo sa ovalocyte. I just showed you the appearance. oval macrocyte or ovalocyte. So, ang reason, ito po, deficiency sa vitamin B12 and folate, and because of peripheral blood. Okay? Immature premature. Punta tayo sa membrane abnormality. So, unahin natin, spherocyte. So, for the spherocyte, hindi na po normal ang shape. This time, kung biconcave ang normal, this is round. Ano bang difference ng round, ma'am, doon sa discoid? Kahit saang anggulo mo tignan ang round, it's round. Pero ang discoid, ito yung side view, 'di ba? Ang top view naman yan, ito. Tama? Pero pag yan ay spherocyte, it will with that, ma'am. The problem will lie on the deformability. Okay? Naalala ninyo yung membrane? Bakit ganun yung structure ng membrane ng RBC? It's because it helps the RBC to be deformable. So what will happen if you have lost the cell membrane of the RBC? If it is less deformable, then it is prone to lysis. So imagine, ito, tawag dito, abnormal, no? RBC shape. So, ito yung normal na RBC shape natin, di ba? It's biconcave. So, what will happen if dumaan po siya sa maliliit na blood vessel? Halimbawa, this is the blood vessel. Dito siya dadaan. Okay. So, even if, ganito yung position niya halimbawa, no? Maliit yung ating blood vessel, right? So, may capability po yan to deform, like this. And then, once it passed through that, babalik po yan sa normal na structure niya. Yun yung reason bakit yan yung shape ng RBC nyo. Paano kung yan ay spherical? Kung yan ay spherical at wala po yung deformability, pag dumaan po yan sa maliliit na blood vessel, what happens is that, para magkasya siya dyan, pag sisiksikan niya yung sarili niya at hindi po yan magde-deform, rather, it will just burst. Naintindihan? Kaya, kapag spherocyte, it is prone, no, to lysis. Gets po ba yun? Okay? Now, in terms of the associated conditions or associated diseases, one is pwedeng inherited, yung tinatawag natin na congenital spherocytosis. Pag sinabi nating inherited, pinanganak po yung pasyente na talagang ang red cell shape niya puro spherical. Okay? So, it is actually prone to develop ng hemolytic. Ang mga microspherocyte din ay associated sa ABO hemolytic diseases, yung HDN na tinatawag. And then, by the way, of hemolytic condition. Ulitin ko, the presence of spherocyte is an indication of a hemolytic condition. Marami po kasing klase ng hemolytic condition. Okay? Pwedeng anemia, pwedeng dahil sa RBC antibodies natin. Basta, sa ngayon, wag niyo munang anihin yon. Pero, tandaan niyo, kapag may hemolytic condition ng pasyente, may presence lagi ng spherocyte. Naintindihan po ba? Okay na. Okay. So, let us talk about the correlation. Ano ba yung maaari nating na pwedeng i-correlate natin with the spherocyte? So number 1, ang MCV niyan, maaaring normal or slightly decreased. But yung MCHC, pati yung OFT is osmotic fragility test, it is increased. Parehas po. The MCHC is increased, the OFT is increased. Ano yung OFT? Yung OFT or the osmotic fragility test is to test the test the stability, no, of your RBC. Mabilis bang malays o hindi? Kapag mabilis malays, mataas ang OFT natin. So ibig sabihin ng increased OFT, it is prone, no? It easily lyse. Yung mga RBC natin. Easily lysed po. Madali pong masira. So bakit nga madaling masisira to? Dahil nga yung kanyang membrane, no, not normal ang shape, kaya decrease ang deformability. Okay na? Okay. Next. Elliptocytes. Mabilis ba yung pag-shift ko ng slides? Okay lang? Okay, sige. Alright. Next, let's move on to elliptocyte or also known as ovalocyte. Ito, sabi ko nga kanina, similar siya with megalocyte, but they have different causes. Okay? More elongated and narrower than your megalocyte. So this is rod or cigar or sausage shape. Now, the problem is that ganun din, defect pa rin sa membrane. Nabawasan yung integrity ng membrane ng mga elliptocyte. So, hereditary elliptocytosis, and some of these are associated with other conditions such as this. So, hindi na po natin, ulitin ko lang, hindi na po natin maiisa-isa yan kasi medyo marami to. But, pagka diniscuss na natin yung iba't ibang disease states na yan, may explain naman natin kung bakit merong elliptocytes. Okay? So, for now, makifamiliarize muna po yung mga conditions na, or yung mga disease states na yan. Okay? Next, punta tayo kay Bursell or kay echinocyte. Si Bursell or si echinocyte, you have here the projection. Ayan, makikita niyo yung, na-appreciate niyo yung projection na yan. Uniform yan, ha? It's regular. Kasi later on, yung pangalawa natin, or yung pang-apat natin rather, this is naman irregular. Okay? Magkaiba ang itsura. Ito, you have regular projection. Magkakaparehas ang shape ng projection, magkakaparehas din ang haba. Dito naman sa acanthocyte, you have here irregular, no, projection. May mahahaba, may maikli, tapos lesser. Okay? Mas konti yung projections kapag acanthocyte. Malinaw po ba? Okay. Puntahan muna natin tong si echinocyte or the Bursell. Ano ba ang reason kung bakit nagkaroon ng Bursell? Unang-una po, it's because of the decreased deformability as well. Okay? So, ang nangyari po dito kay Bursell is that number 1, nag-increase po yung rigidity ng red cell. Di ba dapat deformable? Naging rigid yung red blood cell. Dahil pwedeng ang nangyari, nabawasan or nagkaroon ng alteration sa surface area to volume ratio. Posibleng dahil din sa type ng hemoglobin, nagkaroon ng alteration sa hemoglobin type. Ano pa? Pwede din because of the lipid content. Alteration. And because of that, kapag nag-increase, anong lipids sa membrane, kapag nag-increase, nagiging rigid yung membrane.
Yung cholesterol po.
At kapag rigid, formable, it is prone to lysis. Malinaw po ba? Okay. So, ma'am, ang echinocyte po ba ay similar with crenated RBC? Yes, but the presence of crenated RBC is normal. Ibig pong sabihin, no disease state associated. Okay? Paano ma'am namin malalaman kung crenated lang siya or talagang echinocyte siya? Okay, you look at the other field. Kasi baka mamaya, meron lang mga iilan na crenated or meron lang iilan na merong variation. Baka naman yung ibang side or ibang field ay normal. Okay? So again, crenated RBC are normal. Sa ano ba, malakas na ang ulan? Sa inyo, malakas na ba ang ulan? Okay. Okay. So, ingat ha, wag nang lalabas. Okay. Next. So, what are the associated conditions? Pwedeng because of bleeding gastric ulcer. So, ganito po ano bang meron sa gastrointestinal tract? 'Di ba merong acid? Okay? So, ang nangyayari is that yung RBCs natin nagkakaroon po ng contact with the acid. And that's the reason why there is formation of these projections. Okay? Or abnormality in the shape. Malinaw po ba? Or dahil yan sa gastric carcinoma, peptic ulcer, okay, and others. So, ito yung iba pang associated conditions with echinocyte. Okay. Dagdag ko lang din, for the crenated RBC, because of osmotic balance or due to osmotic imbalance. But again, it is still normal. Okay? Yung echinocyte, yun yung abnormal. Okay po? Okay, let's proceed. Finally, we have your acanthocyte. Ang acanthocyte, so na-differentiate na natin yan kanina versus the burr. Ulit, ang acanthocyte irregular, ang burr regular. Ang acanthocyte, you have, tawag dito, few spicules or projection. Ito po, it has more spicules. Ito less. Okay? And then, ang acanthocyte may even distribution. Ito po ay uneven. Okay? And then, ang reason bakit merong acanthocyte is because of the plasma lipids. Mababa membrane. What are we talking about ba? I mean, ano bang reason bakit nagkaroon ng acanthocyte? Membrane. Okay? The problem is in the membrane abnormality. So, one of the reason bakit magkakaroon tayo ng membrane abnormality is because of the plasma lipid. Saan ba nanggaling ang lipid na ginagamit natin for the RBC membrane? Some of them will come from the plasma lipids. And when they are decreased, ganun din, nagdi-decrease din po ang deformability ng ating RBC. So again, it's sensitive and it's prone to lysis. So again, pagka nag-expose siya sa internal or external forces. Understood? So, kailan ba tayo nagkakaroon ng decreased plasma lipid? E di kapag yung pasyente merong spur cell anemia or beta lipoproteinemia. Pag sinabi nating beta lipoproteinemia, absence, right? Lipo is lipid, emia is disease. So, ibig sabihin, decrease talaga ang plasma lipid. Bakit kasama pati ang liver? Liver is important. Siyempre, kung may liver cirrhosis ang pasyente, hindi po makakapag-synthesize ng plasma lipid. At dahil doon, affected ang still hepatitis, that's still liver associated, and post-plenectomy. Okay? Next, ay ma'am, bakit sa post-plenectomy magkakaroon ng acanthocyte? The spleen is the cemetery of RBC. Ibig sabihin, ng RBC. Right? So, halimbawa natin, like, tapos itong RBC na to ay ano ha, this is, what do you call this? This is, okay. Kunwari, yan yung acanthocyte mo. Okay. Yung mga normal RBC natin, kapag ka na-expose, no, sa trauma, kasi nga, again, no, ano niya, lipid content niya. So, what happens to that is, nagkakaroon ng lysis. So, naiiwan sila sa peripheral circulation natin kasi nga wala na pong pupuntahan dahil tinanggal yung spleen. That's post-plenectomy. Understood? So ulit, pag walang spleen ng patient, so ganito guys, no, normally kapag abnormal spleen, okay? So, kung isipin nyo, si spleen yung tagalinis natin ng mga hindi magandang RBC. Pero, kung halimbawa, walang ng spleen yung patient, wala na magsisequester kay acanthocyte. So, it will remain in your peripheral blood. Gets? Post-plenectomy. Okay, next. Yes? Question?
Ano ko lang po, spleen na po ba yung nagsisequester po ng mga ano po?
Dead, ito ha. I mean, dead and abnormal RBC. Yes, the spleen. Kaya nga natin tinatawag siya na cemetery of RBC. Okay.
Thank you.
Next. Alright. Next, let's move on to, bakit mo natanong yan, Iho? Sorry.
Nakirious lang po kasi baka ilang po spleen yung
okay. Wala nang iba pang organs na nagsisequester sa mga ito ay ano pa rin ha, I mean, yung mga RBCs po ito na dead and old. Di ba may lifespan tayo, di ba 120 days. So after 120 days, sinisequester na yan ng spleen. Ganun din yung mga sirang RBC, sinisequester na yan ng spleen. Bakit kailangan i-sequester ni spleen? Para pag bumaba yung count natin ng RBC, mag-signal na yan kay brain, okay? Nasabihan si bone marrow na mag-release na ulit or mag-produce na ulit ng RBC. Nakuha? Kaya spleen is very important in the process or in the life cycle of RBC. Okay, anyway, so going back. So let's move on to the stomatocyte. Stomatocyte, mukha po siyang... Okay, may question ulit. Ano pong tanong? Question, would it be pathogenic po if dead or abnormal RBCs were not sequestered due to the removal? Okay. Hindi naman. Okay lang. Actually, ginagawa talaga, lalo na kung may problema sa count, yung pasyente, no, ng RBC. Let's say, for example, may hemolytic anemia ang pasyente. No? So, isa sa mga treatment ng hemolytic anemia ay removal of the spleen. Okay? Bakit i-remove yung spleen? Kasi nga, pag may hemolytic anemia ang pasyente, di ba mabilis malays yung RBC? So, dahil may problema dun sa RBC nung pasyente, dahil nga ang spleen, very active yan na tagatanggal ng mga abnormal na RBC natin, di ba? So isa sa triya yung patient, kahit paano, mapapatay, nakuha po. Instead na nandyan si spleen, may i-release RBC on dahil gano'n naman talaga sirabas, tanggalin natin yung tagatanggal. Okay? Ngayon, ma'am, abnormal ba yon? Natanggalin natin yung spleen? Depende sa pasyente. Of course, hindi mo pwedeng tanggalin ng spleen nang wala namang rason, di ba? Pero paano kung wala na yung spleen, ma'am? Sino na yung tagatanggal ng RBC? Okay? Diyan napapasok ngayon yung immune system natin. Sila macrophage, sila phagocyte, sila na ngayon ang tagalinis ng blood natin in terms dito sa mga patay na RBC. Kung walang spleen ng patient, ha? So, yun. Okay. Okay na po. So, you see, napakatalino ng katawan natin, di ba? Napakatalino ng sistema natin. Ayun. Okay na? Saan pumupunta yung... Yun na. Kaya nga, papasok na dito yung nila tong mga patay na RBCs na to para maging soluble. Okay? They convert it into soluble debris. So, sila na ngayon yung nagiging tagalinis. Gets po? Mas madali sana ang trabaho, no? Kumbaga, parang nadagdagan yung trabaho nila phagocyte nung nawala si spleen. Ganun talaga. Sa katawan natin, pag may nawawala, may nagko-compensate. Di ba naalala niyo yung sa bone marrow? Yung ewan ko kung tayo yung nag-usap noon, nakakalimutan ko na yung mga discussions. Pero kapag halimbawa, hindi ako yun. Kasi extramedullary hematopoiesis yun. Naalala ninyo, kapag familiar kayo with extramedullary hematopoiesis? Oo. Kapag sinabi nating extramedullary hematopoiesis, hindi na gumagana yung bone marrow mo. Kailangan mag-produce ng blood cells, di ba? So, pag sinabi natin extramedullary hematopoiesis, hindi nangyayari ang hematopoiesis sa bone marrow dahil sira na. So, sino nagko-compensate? Sino nagko-compensate? Yung other lymphoid organs natin, di ba? Like spleen, like, ano pa ba? Like your liver, right? So, ganun din dito sa concept na to. Pag may nawawalang, ganun sa katawan natin, pag may nawawalang organ, may nagko-compensate. Naintindihan? Okay. Alright. Malinaw na po ba yun? Nasagot ko ba yung tanong? Rainier?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay. Sige. Let's move on to stomatocyte. Ito naman, mukhang may nakasmile. Okay? Mukhang may mouth. Right? May slit kasi doon sa gitna ng RBC. Ang dahilan nito, ion, sodium and potassium. So, naalala niyo yung piso? Right? Dapat nasaan ang sodium? Piso. Potassium inside, sodium outside. What happens here? Baliktad. Si sodium, nag-increase, pumasok sa loob. Si potassium, lumabas. So, isa sa mga nangyayari or isa sa mga resulting na variation sa shape ng RBC is the presence of stomatocyte. So, ito po yung mga associated conditions dyan. So, ito po yung affected, alcoholism. Okay? Glutathione. Glutathione kasi is an antioxidant. And the presence of the antioxidant will also make sure na mababalance pati yung sodium and lahat ng ions natin sa katawan, no? Balance ang ions sa atin. And then, I am lead poisoning. Okay? Pakitandaan po itong lead poisoning na to ha, kasi madalas itong lumalabas sa board exam. Okay, RH null, lack RH antigen. So this is also associated with stomatocytes. Lack RH antigen. Okay. Next, target cell. Mukha naman siyang shooting target. Mukha siyang bullseye. Right? So you have here a clear inner ring and you have a red outer ring. So these are thinner than normal RBCs, and this is because of excessive lipid naman. Di ba kanina sa acanthocyte, decreased lipid. Ang target cell naman, because of excessive lipid. So of course, affected na naman po ang surface area to volume ratio. And when that happens, less na naman ang deformability. At dahil doon, prone sa lysis. Gets? So, any abnormality in the membrane of the RBC usually indicates affecting the deformability of the RBC. Okay? So, bakit magkakaroon ng excessive membrane lipid? Maaaring dahil kulang sa enzyme. O kaya naman, dahil nagkulang sa enzyme, nag-increase ang cholesterol, nag-increase ang phosphatidylcholine na nai-incorporate sa ating membrane. So, what happens? Nag-excess ang lipid membrane, nagkaroon ng alteration sa surface area to volume ratio. And when do this happen? Pag may thalassemia ang pasyente or may abnormal hemoglobin. Okay? And then, sorry, hindi pa natin maisa-isa yan. Ulitin ko, if i-discuss, kasi pag inisa-isa natin to, i-memorize nyo rin pati ngayon yung mga principles bakit nagkaroon ng hemoglobinopathy, hemolytic anemia. So, katulad ng hemolytic anemia, marami pong type ng hemolytic anemia kasi. So, we will discuss this kapag pinag-usapan na natin yung mga disease na yun. So, ngayon, ang magagawa natin is that number 1, you have to know what is the shape, you have to know why it happened, and please familiarize yung mga associated disease states. Okay? Okay. So anyway, we will continue our discussion next week. And mag-prepare po para sa quiz ninyo on Friday. 2 po yung quiz ninyo sa akin. That would include the introduction as well as, ano pa yung discussion natin? RBC structure. Okay, physiology and destruction. May tanong po ba? Clarification. Next week po natin ito itutuloy. May tanong po? Clarification. Okay. Sino po yung sa attendance kanina? Magpapa-record. Saglit lang ha. Pakibanggit na lang po yung mga last name.
Hero po.
So it's Hero. Okay. Who else?
Baybin po.
Baybin. Who else?
Bautista po.
Who else?
Mabuti po.
Mabuti. Mabuti, nandito ka na. Charot. Who else?
Vicedo po.
Vicedo. Who else? Yun lang? Wala talaga? Ibalyo? Ninobla and Gallego. Ninobla. Asan na? And Gallego. Asan si Gallego? Ayun. Sino pa po? Ibalyo. Okay na? Alright, sige. So, kung wala na pong tanong, ay mag-end na po tayo ng ating meeting. Sige po, I will see you again next week, please. Please do study for your quiz on Friday. Okay? Sige, para hindi, kasi medyo, I'll be honest with you, medyo challenging yung midterm natin. So, ngayon pa lang, mag-ipon na po kayo ng mga scores para maging maganda po yung grade at maging maganda yung outcome natin sa dulo. 'Di ba? May mga naging quiz na ba kayo with Sir Erwin? Wala pa rin kayo nagiging quiz. Okay, sige. Alright. Anyway, question na lang din, huli na to. Kailan ang meeting nyo ng lab? Good Sir Erwin.
Saturday po.
Saturday. Anong oras ng Saturday?
2 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Siya rin, si Sir Erwin din. Okay. Sige. Baka I can ask him to... Pero may quiz kayo sa kanya this week? Meron din? Okay. Siguro I can ask him na i-facilitate yung ibang quiz na lang sa lab. Para 2 araw naman. Hindi naman isang bagsakan lahat ng quiz ninyo ng isang araw, no? Sige. I'll talk to him na lang kung pwede pa at possible pa sa meeting ninyo. Then, we can just opt to, anong tawag dito? Hiwa-hiwala yung quiz ninyo para hindi isang bagsakan, no? Sige. Okay. That would be all for today. Thank you so much for coming. I'll see you again next week. Good luck sa mga quizzes ninyo. Mag-aral mabuti. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you po.